Kia ora at the whānau, it is Wairoa Tomlin here, aka the Māori that bikes, and I am back up here at my local park of Arapuke. I'm joined today by these two young fellas. We got James and we got the Broly. Okay, so these two are going to give me a bit of a hand. Hopefully we get some good footage and hopefully I can piece together a decent edit. Rightio, first of all I want to give a big shout out to both James and Luke for helping me get this video done. We're doing a riding guide over one of Arapuke's revised trails known as Jumping Jack. Now, before we get into it, we actually decided we'd warm up on Foo Fighter first, because it makes sense because it's right near the top and it's just a really cool track to actually bomb down first on and just get warmed up and get everything ticking over. I've also decided I'd splice a little bit of video from other visits to the park that I've done with two other friends, that's Marty Billing and Paul Shed. Both local riders, really cool guys, and you should check them out if you get the opportunity to do so. The weather prior to filming this video was actually pretty poor, so we had very, rainy, wet weather, and that tends to lend itself to slick and greasy trails. Arapuke is primarily clay-based, so what happens is when it rains and gets wet, it ends up being a bit of a mud bath, and you just end up slipping and sliding anyway. So, with that said, let's get straight into the video. Right, welcome to Jumping Jack. Now, the trail amps us up with a few little rollers and jumps before we head into the next feature, which I'm calling the S-bend, because literally, it is an S-bend shape type feature. It's a little bit sharp, I suppose, coming into the first right-hand turn, and then you move into the left-hand turn before you have to cross over the road. I almost consider this to be a bit of a brake check kind of scenario because it does slow you down and you have to check left and right before you actually cross over into the second section.
Right, you ready? Let's go.
After leaving the first section and cutting across the road, you need to gather a whole heap of speed to hit all these little mini rollers and jumps. I think a few of them are doubles, to be honest. But yeah, it's quite a good long straight section and it sets you up for a big long corner right down the end. But you can see here it starts off pretty mellow and there's plenty of time to pump and jump, as it were, before you hit that next section. We have a split in the trail. Now the line on the left just takes you out and around a berm and heads towards a large table. The line on the inside takes you across a gap jump, a very small gap jump, not hard or difficult at all to do. It takes you towards the same place. I would consider the outside line a little bit faster, but the inside line obviously heaps more fun to do. You'll see the boys hit it right now. Cutting to the action, we've got James taking the outside line around towards the table, and then we're going to cut to a video of following Paul. Now, the rest of this particular section isn't overly difficult or challenging, it's mostly just a few jumps and whatnot. There is a tricky section near the end, and it always generally catches me out, and you'll see where it cuts back to the video of the lads, that they do a bit of a step up. Now, from that angle, it's quite, difficult to see, but that step up is deceptively odd for me. I just never seem to be able to hit it quite right. After exiting the step up, you then come into the right hand turn where you've got two line choices. You go left across the wooden rails or right on the inside line to do the little rock feature. I think the outside line is generally the better line for me personally. I just seem to get down there a bit easier. It is a bit of an odd section to do though, but yeah, I mean, hey, use a choice, try both and see what you think. Cutting back to James' cam, we then move through into a fairly easy section. It can be quite greasy and wet through this area because it's in the shade, so just take note of that. We then head into what I consider to be the trickiest part of the trail. Right, so this has got to be the most jankiest corner or junction on the trail, mostly because of just how greasy it can get, regardless if you go to the right or to the left. Now, both lines offer, a bit of fun. If we look at the right-hand line, we've got this rock feature here. You can also go to the right of it, but the rock feature isn't something that's overly technical or difficult. Eventually, the trail just winds its way down and to the left, and both of these trails or sections lead up to the same point down the bottom. So we're back at the top of the junction, and I consider this turn going down to the left slightly off camber going uphill, which could be part of the reason why some people wipe out. But anyway, it's got two rock features on it that you can either roll or jump, and either option is going to be fun no matter what you do. It's a bit of a shortcut section, so it cuts straight down onto the main trail down the bottom, and just remember that as you're coming through that it joins back up at the bottom. Cutting back to James' can, he decided he's going to go down the right hand line, which is obviously the easier line of the two. There's a small little rock jump down the bottom here before he comes up towards the table. In this next section we then end up going towards another rock jump. Here it is here. It's nothing overly difficult. It actually is really cool to just hit at speed, so if you're feeling good, send it.
Right, we're just about near the end whānau, and here we got the two of the largest tables on the actual trail itself. Really cool to get a bit of height, to get into orbit if you want. For me, I'm still working on getting these tables cleared. On some days I get it, other days I don't, but hey, let's see if you can.
It's been a primo day up here at the local with the lads. I really appreciate you guys helping out, so thank you, Bigham. Luke, you guys have been primo, eh? It's just so helpful having other people around to literally do the riding for me while I do the recording.
A few moments later.
And there we have it, a riding guide over Arapuke's Jumping Jack. It was a really good day. I really appreciate the boys helping me out. We decided that we'd hit up the ripper drop just for a few lols. Couldn't get James across the line on it though, but hey, such as it is. Maybe next time, bro. But anyway, yeah, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and I'll catch you up in my next video.